Good day. Welcome to Caribbean Cargo Texture. My wife and I moved to St. Croix in the United States Virgin Islands to build hurricane-resistant modular housing. Follow along as we build our first house, the Tidy, a 640 square foot container home. Be sure to follow us on Instagram to see the build and our adventures in American Paradise. This is our buddy Eric. He flew down from Connecticut to do my cutting and welding. I'm extremely grateful for all of his services. Oh. Fire. Hold on, fire, dude. Yeah. Smart man. The previous clip shows the importance of having water and a fire extinguisher on your build site. Even though the fire department is just a few blocks away, it's always better to be safe than sorry. In this clip, Eric is using the plasma cutter to cut out one of two major cutouts between the containers, one between the primary bedroom and the other one between the kitchen and living area. This is the exterior view of Eric starting his cutout with the plasma cutter. Unfortunately, although he started with the plasma cutter, my generator was simply not strong enough to run it. So we reverted to other means to get the other cutouts done. Grinder, circular saw with the metal blade. But man, when the plasma cutter worked, it worked great. Here is Atlantic Trucking pulling up with a 20-foot container I purchased. This container will act as storage as well as contained a bunch of critical metal tools to aid in getting our metal frames done, most notably a chop band saw. Without these tools, we wouldn't be able to get the work done that you see in this video. While Eric continues container cutouts, Jorgen and I are attaching our column bar work to our existing footer bar work. Here, Eric is completing the first cutout. Man, it really feels good to see steel fly and have a hole in the container, but it's only temporary. Here we are continuing to tie our columns to our footing bar work. Clearly the temperature has gotten to Eric maybe a little bit, and whatever it takes at this point, it's probably about 94 degrees in this video. At this point, Eric has reverted to the flex weld grinder. The initial plan was to use a plasma cutter, but since the generator wasn't strong enough, it just wasn't feasible. Our initial plan was to use the framing itself as a guide for the plasma cutter, but flex weld grinder did great anyway and got the job done. Starting to cut out for one of two exterior doors. One exterior door is off the primary bedroom behind container doors. However, if you close those, there's no way to get out of the house. So this door is completely necessary and will never be covered by any shutter or any means. It is the only egress if you are in a hurricane, as this house will have shutters over every single opening. As you can see, we've repurposed the tarp as an awning. It's funny enough because this is exactly where the covered deck is going, and for the exact same reason. The sun is so strong down here. Here is Eric starting the second cutout between the containers. Both cutouts are 1/3 of the total surface area of the containers, which allows us to not use structural engineering or additional beams. There are multiple things going on in this video. As always, you see Eric going along with his cuts, but we are running our bandsaw on our first cut for our steel window frames. This first cut took about 47 minutes because we did not have the saw dialed in. It took a lot of observing and a lot of different adjustments, but we eventually ended up getting cut times down to less than 10 minutes. The end result of the new bandsaw was extremely clean miters. Here Eric is welding everything together, our first frame for our first window. Everything turned out great. We are using 2x2 angle, and he did a great job with all these windows. In the next sequence of clips, you see Eric welding and completing more frames for the doors and windows. All of these frames are made out of 2x2 steel angle. Bare steel rusts very quickly, so I'm coming right behind Eric with the palm sander, getting all the mill scale off the steel. After these are sanded down, I immediately hit them with a spray primer. This bandsaw that I purchased with the 20-foot container was really an amazing tool. It's kind of a set it and forget it type situation where you can set up the cut, go and do other things, and it'll just get the cut done for you extremely clean. To improve working conditions in this dark blue container, I am pressure washing in preparation for white paint. This was kind of a unique situation since I had a submersible pump in the water buffalo itself and a generator running my pressure washer, but it all worked out. Before any paint is applied, I must address any and all rust. So that basically involves grinding everything down to bare steel, and it will all get primed with red oxide primer. Here I am continuing to grind any surface rust that I see. This wasn't too bad considering this container I'm on is a 2021 and it's only a one-trip container, so it didn't really see much sea life. After grinding, this is a very important process, applying red oxide primer to all the bare steel. This is extremely important right before paint. My buddy Jorgen thought I couldn't bring a whole tray of paint up without spilling any. Joke's on him. I started priming this roof with a specialized corrugated roofing roller, which really didn't work out for me very well. So eventually, I ended up switching to a sprayer. Eric continues with his cutouts. It's not only extremely satisfying to see the steel hit the ground, but also have a visual representation of where the windows are going. After passing our column bar work inspection, it was time to get the sonotubes over the bar work. This is a lot easier said than done, as these sonotubes are very heavy. What is not pictured is us bracing these up and getting everything ready for the pour, but stay tuned for the next episode for the actual pour itself.